I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address. In the torn up town, no postcode envy, but every song's like gold teeth, grey goose, tripping in the bathroom, bloodstains, ball gowns, trash in the hotel room. We don't care. We're driving Cadillacs in our dreams, but everybody's like crystal, Maybach, diamonds on your timepiece, jet planes, islands, tigers on your gold leash. We don't care. We aren't caught up in your love affair. We'll forever be royals. Royals. It just runs in our blood. That kind of lux is made for us. We crave a different kind of buzz. Let me be your ruler. Ruler. You can call me Queen Bee, and baby I'll rule. I'll rule. Let me live that fantasy. My friends and I, we've cracked the code. We count our dollars on the train to the party, and everyone who knows us knows that we're fine with this. We didn't come from money, but every song's like gold teeth, grey goose, tripping in the bathroom, bloodstains, ball gowns, trash in the hotel room. We don't care. We're driving Cadillacs in our dreams, but everybody's like crystal, Maybach, diamonds on your timepiece, jet planes, islands, tigers on your gold leash. We don't care. We aren't caught up in your love affair. We'll forever be royals. Royals. It just runs in our blood. The kind of lux is made for us. We crave a different kind of buzz. So let me be your ruler. Ruler. You can call me Queen Bee, and baby I'll rule. I'll rule. I'll rule. Let me live that fantasy. Oh. Oh. We're bigger than we ever dreamed, and I'm in love with being queen. Whoa. Whoa. Life is great without a care. We aren't caught up in your love affair. We'll forever be royals. Royals. It just runs in our blood. That kind of a lux is made for us. We crave a different kind of buzz. So let me be your ruler. Ruler. You can call me Queen Bee, and baby I'll rule. I'll rule. I'll rule. Let me live that fantasy.
You may now begin by closing your eyes and allowing your being to settle down. As you become still and settle down into your being, feel your body exhale all together. Letting your whole body relax as your breath slows down, becoming grounded. Feel this sweet connection your being shares with your body. The breath being the union of your physical self and spirit. Take a moment and allow yourself to fully soak in this sacred relationship. This natural connection, your breath flowing naturally on its own. effortless. Your being's harmonious relationship with God is effortless. Choose this truth now in your heart. Visualize your heart absorbing this delicious, blissful feeling. This divine truth, letting it seep in deep inside you like a sponge. The feelings your heart feels is God continuously communicating with you. This communication never ends, never fades. Your feelings are sacred conversations with God. And in this feeling space is where you find your beloved twin flame. Do you see how love has never, even for a moment, stopped communicating with you? Visualize all this sacredness streaming in like rivers from all over your being, coming together like a confluence at your center, being absorbed into your sweet heart. Like the nervous system in your body communicates perfectly and precisely, God's network of divine communication through your feelings is precisely perfect. Make a promise to yourself now to always honor your precious feelings. To always put your feelings first. Putting your feelings first is putting God first. Do you now choose to always honor your sacred inner world first? Love is felt here. The whole feeling of God's being is felt here. Your divine companion, your twin flame, is felt here. It is supremely safe to feel your feelings completely. There is only more peace and more love to be found here. Allow your heart to soak in all these wonderful feelings. allowing only your divine nature as a child of God to be absorbed. And here it will always remain. With this blissful peace and deep contentment with yourself and your eternal bond with your God, you may now gently open your eyes.
Hi everyone, we're Twin Flames Gabe and Brianna, and we're so happy to be doing this week's Oracle card reading. We'll be pulling from Angels of Abundance by Doreen and Grant Virtue.
Yeah, and our first card is Release Resentments About Money. Release resentments about money. Yes, the money system of the world can seem upsetting, but holding resentments about finances just pushes your abundance away. Instead, see money as a tool you can use to better the world, and this shift will help you attract support and golden opportunities. Yeah, the feeling that I'm really getting from this card is to just really look at where you may be holding any resentment at all. Maybe it's about money specifically, maybe it's about support in general, maybe it's about receiving. But the important part is to really allow yourself to feel your feelings here and feel whatever's coming up for you here. I think, this card is really specific, like release resentments about money. So it's definitely designed to kind of trigger you and kind of bring you to that place where you are feeling called to heal. And that's okay. It's okay to be so triggered to go there. And I love what it said about, holding resentments about finances just pushes your abundance away. Yeah, It's not going to get better if you just ignore the problem or ignore your feelings. So just be, compassionate and patient with yourself here and choose to love yourself through it. Yeah. And the second card that we pulled for today's reading is Face Your Financial Fears. Face your financial fears. And we have this cute little twin flame couple right here playing, and this sort of heavenly, like God energy, divine energy watching over. And it says, when you are honest with yourself about fears of success or failure, they can no longer control you. Be free of hidden fears by exposing them to the light of awareness, and you'll realize that you, in fact, have nothing to fear, and that every successful person has struggled with and released these self-doubts. Yeah, it's perfect. It's really just a deepening into not being afraid of your feelings, face them head on. And I continue to get this feeling that it is about support, and it is about seeing money as divine, seeing God in your money, and knowing that there's nothing to be afraid of there. Money is not evil. Money does not hurt you. Whatever your financial situation is, it's perfect for you at this time for the lessons that you're receiving and how you're choosing to be of service to the world or not choosing to be. Your financial state will reflect that. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just something to look at very honestly and love yourself deeper. And you feel anything else for this card?
No, I feel like you captured
I did it.
Well.
Okay. And the third and final card for the reading is Partnership. And this is really nice. Allow healthful, supportive partnerships into your personal life and career, and both parties benefit as a result. You are receiving help from heaven and from a person who brings needed skills and resources. Yeah. We're truly, truly all in this together. We ascend together. We ascend as one, as brothers and sisters in God. So to deny yourself partnership or deny yourself, the skills and resources that are available to you, it only hinders you. It does not help you. So, maybe take a look at where you are possibly avoiding partnership or where you are desiring to go deeper into partnership. I know as Twin Flames, we're deepening in our partnership every day. And it's a really beautiful and divine journey in our work and in our play and in everything. So allow yourself to be loved through other people and through partnership. Very good. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoy the rest of the service. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Welcome to the Church of Union Sunday service. I'm Laurenzio.
And I'm Alexandra. And in today's service, our topic is reincarnation. What an interesting topic indeed. And Jeff and Shaleia are going to touch in the following sermon what is reincarnation, what different types of realms are there, and also a lot of examples that I found interesting and a lot of juicy information. And when I listened to the sermon for the first time, I felt relieved. And I think like for all of us that have watched more than just one Sunday service and sermon from Jeff and Shaleia, we can relate that these services bring us a lot of relief. And why it brought me a lot of relief. I am born and Christian to be an Orthodox. And in this religion, I have learned that you are born, you are Christian, you have a life, and then you die, and then you are judged, and then you go to heaven or hell, depending on how you do in your judgment day. And I learned this from my grandparents. They were very, very religious and adamant about what the Bible says. And I was a little bit rascal as a child. And I wanted to know more. And I was like, but you said like God is like loving and caring, right? So for me, it didn't really felt good that God would give us just one chance. You have one chance at life, and if you don't do it right, well, you're doomed forever. And that didn't really feel good for me, and Jeff and Shaleia have talked about this kind of guilt in a previous service as well. And I questioned this. I question like why is this so? Why is this happening if God is so loving and if God cares about us and God just wants us to have a really good life and to be loved? Why is that some people are born rich and some people are born poor? I didn't find an answer to that question that helped me feel better. And Jeff and Shaleia touch upon this question in the following sermon. And as I questioned these things that didn't feel good inside of myself, I felt like whenever I talk with people about this in my religion, they didn't really give me an answer that could fully satisfy me here and be like, okay, I understand. I see now what's happening. I didn't really receive that. So therefore, I started searching in other places, in other religions. I studied other texts. I studied other just religious beliefs. And so I found out about reincarnation. And when I found out about reincarnation, I felt, okay, maybe here is the answer to this question. Why are some people born rich and poor? Why are some people born healthy strong and ready to do life, and why are others born sick? What causes these life circumstances? I didn't understand, and in the following sermon, Jeff and Shaleia are gonna explain in very great detail everything about this subject. So, without further ado, here are Jeff and Shaleia.
Hi, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Shaleia. Welcome back to another juicy Sunday Church of Union service. Thank you so much for being with us today, and give yourself a little gratitude for showing up for yourself. It feels really good to invest in your spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
So let us open with our 3 opening Oms and Amen, as well as our opening prayer. Please join us either mentally or out loud. Focusing in on our heart chakra, we're going to take a nice deep breath in. Please join us for our opening prayer.
I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word.
Today, I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, Amen.
Today we're going to be talking about reincarnation. What happens when you die? What happens when you're born? What happens before you're born? And all that stuff. So this is going to be a good one.
That's fun.
So reincarnation is the spiritual concept that after you die, you go somewhere else, and then you return back to Earth, incarnated in a new body, with a new identity, a new family, and you don't remember pretty much anything.
Not really, no.
And in Hinduism they call this the wheel of birth and death. And so you're living and you're dying and you're reincarnating and you're living life again to learn the lessons that you hadn't learned from your previous lives, to rectify any negative karma or work out any karma that you have from previous lives, until you ultimately arrive at the conclusion that separation is not for you, and you fully ascend. Now, in her book, Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramhansa Yogananda, Sri Yukteswar resurrects himself and returns to Yogananda to tell her about all the different realms. And we'll tell you about these different sort of tiers of reality. And the tier that you're in is the lowest tier. It's physical reality. And when you die, in almost every instance, you go to the astral realm. And that's, a lot of people talk about the afterlife, or if you have near-death experiences where you die and you kind of walk around and hang out, and then you come back and tell everyone all about it, or, if you contact spirits, or, or you experience a ghost or a demon or something like that. These are existing in the astral realm. So the astral realm is non-physical. It's right here in the same, sort of plane that the earth is in. And it has a relationship to the earth and to the causal realm above it. Right? That's what's above it, causal? And then...
It's like the realm of thought.
Yeah. You can, read Autobiography of a Yogi to get more detailed about this. It's not... Our place isn't to get really, like erudite, is it the right word? And particular about every little detail. We want to give you general concepts so that you can ultimately have a very clear understanding of reality right now. And I want to pause a second here. And this is a really great opportunity to talk about what it is we're really doing here. I don't think, in some ways we've spoken to it, but throughout all the years and all the hundreds and hundreds of hours of video content that we've shot, and I don't know that we've really ever said this before about what we're doing. And what we're doing is, in science, I think they call it a unification theory, the single theory that aligns all things, that puts everything together, puts the whole universe, all of creation together. And that's really what unionism is. It's the central piece of all creation. And so we have it. And we are not just giving it to you and offering it, but testing it along the way in our own lives and in the lives of our students. And you can be part of this wonderful experiment and this hammering out, this clarifying this central idea. And this is the essence of unionism. And in heaven, where the meaning of love is known, there's no difference between love and union. It's from A Course in Miracles. So, as you've probably heard it before, the Church of Union is really the Church of Love. Or unionism is really love-ism. And love is the central concept that binds all of creation together, all of reality together. And people get confused along the way because they believe that fear or separation is real, but it's not. And every concept that we put out, everything we discuss, everything we do, everything we say, it all comes back to this one central idea, that love reigns supreme in the universe. That's it. And all that we are, and all that we do, and all that we offer, and all that we teach is love. So that's the central thing. And love and these concepts should stand up against any inquiry, against the test of time. Through every experience, love should conquer all. And it will, if you just try it on. So let's go back to this idea of reincarnation. And you're in the most... Physical is the lowest vibration, the grossest vibration. But in reality, there's the physical, there's the astral, there's the causal bodies. And, if you die here and you go to the astral, and then you ascend in the astral, instead of reincarnating, you find yourself in the causal. And then if you ascend from the causal, you're in, oneness with God, where you were created. But the truth is, the astral, the causal, the physical bodies, they don't actually exist. These are all constructs of mind. They're constructs of ego. They're separation tools to separate you from the oneness that is creation, the oneness that is the truth. And so we can still use these ideas, but the truth is, I'm not actually here in a physical body talking to you. I'm one with you, communicating to you directly through our one consciousness. I just think that's cool.
Seems pretty normal to me.
Yeah. The truth is that physical reality doesn't exist. And it's just an idea or a way that you can understand truth. Take away all of the fear and the separation consciousness, and you still will live in the same house, Like, you're still here. You're still my brother. Nothing ever changed. Separation never existed. But while you're believing in this grand illusion of Maya, we have something called reincarnation. And so this is what I really want to talk about, is this whole game. And it's really just a teaching tool. And it can be a teaching tool of fear or a teaching tool of love. It can be God's teaching tool to return you to greater love with Him. And so when you die, you go to the astral realm. And it's a very heavenly, wonderful place, because there's no... You're not really there for lessons. You're not there to work out stuff. You're just kind of there to recharge. You're there to get clear. You're there to process. You're there to sort through. And you're there to prepare for your next lifetime. And, you know, most people 30 or 40 Earth years, and it's not really the same in the astral realm, because things move a lot faster there. So 30 or 40 years, a whole lot has happened. It might feel like 2 or 3 lifetimes you've lived up there. But everyone always ends up coming back to Earth, reincarnating, or into another physical plane nearby. I wouldn't worry so much about that. To work out their karma. And also, this is really the only place that anything actually happens, is Earth. The astral realm is not where it's at. Physical reality is where it's at. Because this is the place where you can heal all the stuff that brought you here in the first place, until you ultimately transcend the need to come back to Earth. And instead, when you return to the astral realm, it will be as a champion rather than a refugee. Or, what they call them, like where you go from one country to another and the host family hosts you.
I don't know.
Study abroad. That's I guess what I'm looking for. Like a study abroad.
Is that a host family?
Being hosted by a host family, and we're moving on now. So rather than some, like a vacation or a rest, it's your new domain. And you'll find purpose there in the astral realm. And then you're going to continue your spiritual work, and you're going to refine your consciousness of anything that would weigh you down, any heavy thinking. And heavy thinking is of fear of separation, and light thinking is of love. It's fulfilling, it's full of life. Life is really fine and brilliant. And so the finer your mind, your reality, in a sustainable way, the higher you vibrate. And so if someone has really conquered Earth, they're probably really loved and really wealthy, whether they're wealthy in some way. Like Pope John Paul, he was sainted.
The second?
Yeah, the recent one.
Sort of recent, yeah.
And like Mother Teresa, like these people actually ascended to the astral realm. They're not coming back to Earth. They have no need of Earth. They have conquered it. They have transcended it. Their vibrations are finer. And so they've truly ascended to the next realm, and they've found there's new work to be done. There's new love to minister. There's more people to provide God's ministry to, and they're doing that in the astral realm on the other side.
Yeah, and I'd like to use another example, because people may not feel they relate to a saint, but like Karl Lagerfeld, who was the creative director for Chanel, he passed away in I think 2018, 2019. And he's also not coming back to Earth.
Right.
He graduated Earth. Do you want to share?
Yeah, because he focused on fashion, on beauty. And he took his consciousness in order to create really high art, fine high art, really refined beauty. He needed to refine his consciousness very high. And so that caused him to vibrate in harmony with the astral realm rather than the physical realm.
And he got a job offer almost right away. And of course, he was extremely interested in this offer because he liked what he saw, the portfolio of these new clothes, these new designs that he saw.
He's not the boss anymore.
He's not the boss anymore.
He is now the student.
He's now the student.
He's the intern
He loves
at a
it.
much, much finer place. And he'll spend a long, long time learning and training before he would ever hope to have such a position of authority in that new realm.
He did get to meet Gabrielle Coco Chanel, and they felt really good about the work that was done to Chanel up until this point. I mean, obviously I haven't checked in, but for when he died, right? They were very pleased. She was very pleased with him, and he was very happy.
So let's talk about what happens when you die. You don't keep any of your physical possessions. That should be very obvious. Your physical body is done. You'll have to grow a new one. But your vibration remains the same. And so if you were really rich, like you handled money in your last lifetime, you were rich for several lifetimes. Let's just focus on the most recent one. Let's focus on this lifetime, for example. Let's say that you've become really rich, really wealthy. You've got hundreds of millions of dollars, and you live in a gorgeous home. You have homes all over the place, and you maintained your wealth until your death, and you sustained it beyond death. You really mastered money, and in your death, you passed your fortune on to people who would continue the legacy and grow the fortune greater. Well, in every likelihood, in your next lifetime, you will be as wealthy, but for the new times and the new era in a new way. But you will maintain that vibration, and you will be given experiences that will raise your vibration. Now let's talk about someone like Richard Branson. Sir Richard Branson. I think he's Sir Richard Branson. He is entrepreneur of, created the Virgin Group, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Airlines, and all this. Virgin Records. And when he grew up, I think poor or middle class. I think it was to a single mom. And he wasn't born into money. But I remember hearing a story where his mom, when he was very young, like 8 or 12 years old, told him that he needed to go bicycle over to his aunt or his grandma's house and wish her a happy birthday and give her a birthday card or something. And so he did. He bicycled like 50 or 60 miles, some absurd amount that no kid should ever. Like, she just was go. And he took it upon himself, the challenge, and he did it. And he got back, and he's like, I did it, Mom, I did it. I wished her happy birthday. And she didn't seem to notice that he had even left. Nor did she care. And she was like, just, go cut the lawn. And he had to learn from an early age these lessons of wealth. He had to learn to, I think the lesson was to value himself and to give himself appreciation and, gratitude and congratulations, because his mom wouldn't. And so naturally, he was born quickly into wealth. He had started very young. Owned his first business, and he became a billionaire, later on in life. Very, very rich person. And this is because in past lives, he had already mastered wealth and money. Or Bill Gates, for example, in his last lifetime, he was Thomas Edison. And he grew up, he was born into a wealthier family who taught him, the lessons he wanted to learn. And this is actually a really good example we can dig into a little more. On the other side, after Thomas Edison died, and he kind of got a break, saw his life review. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Well, I guess let's talk about it. When you die, usually shortly thereafter, you kind of process, and you get a life review. If you want it, I highly recommend you take it, where you review your life and the lessons of your life with a professional who will take you through. It's a kind of job that you can have in the astral realm.
Right. A life review is never forced upon you, but for your own spiritual healing and your own spiritual growth, we highly recommend that you take that once in a lifetime offer to have your life review done.
You can always do it later, but it's always best as soon as you land.
Right.
And they'll tell you that. But your life review is, you'll look through, and it takes a few days. Where you really look through. You're not going to see, you're not going to watch yourself eat breakfast 9,000 times, right?
No.
It's, you're going to look at the major themes and big peak critical moments in your life, and you're going to see it from a higher perspective. So anyway, after Thomas Edison reviewed his life, and he took his time to kind of think out what he wanted to do for his next life, he saw his challenges. One of the problems he had encountered was that he wasn't very good socially. he wasn't a very friendly person. He wasn't easy to get along with. He didn't really like connect with people very well. And so one of the things he made sure of upon this incarnation as Bill Gates was that he would get the lessons of being social, of being like a social person, rather than being a recluse in his laboratory all day, which he's very good at doing and easily prone to. He wanted to be someone who could actually connect with people. And so he got a mother in this lifetime who forced him to socialize. He would just hang out in his room for hours and hours, dozens of hours reading his books, and his mom would force him to socialize. They were very upstanding, upper class family, and they had a very healthy social life, and they were very important
Into
people.
sports.
Your regular American, hometown family values, where they socialize and
And
they're
I
really
think
friendly.
the time that Bill Gates was born too, the ideal male wasn't really someone who was really brainy. It was someone who was more brawn, attractive, muscular, athletic. Yeah, very sociable.
So he was born into those circumstances that forced him to learn the lesson. And he, if you've watched his documentary or biopic documentary
On Netflix.
He talks about how he's really grateful that his mom and his family forced him to do that, because he feels he wouldn't have been as social, he wouldn't have been as personable, wouldn't have been as relatable or able to relate to others.
Well, he's wealthier now in this lifetime than in last lifetime.
Much
because he knows how to socialize and create connections and bonds much better.
Much better. So,
and thus his ideas have spread.
yes. So, this is a process that you want to take to heart, because everything that you do in your vibration stays with you. If you're with your twin flame in harmonious union in this lifetime, you're going to be with them in the astral realm, and you're going to reincarnate together. Why would you do anything else? But if you died, and what were you going to do? Go meet someone else in the astral realm? Oh, I found someone else. That's so silly. That's a joke. No, you're going to sit there, you're going to wait for them, and you're going to haunt them in their dreams. And you're
not dead yet? Come on, hurry up, I'm waiting.
I got stuff to do.
I gotta finish off our business, duh.
You don't want to
We
meet
still
ghosts
got
with
business.
unfinished business. Anyway, they're going to wait for them, they're going to come, and you're like, hey, took you so long, it's been 36 years. Anyway, enough of the reincarnation jokes. You can wait for them, and of course you're going to reincarnate together. And you're like, all right, we'll be neighbors. That'll be so cute. I'll be here and you'll be there, and let's go get her done. And you'll grow up childhood best friends, and then you'll fall in love and be married at 18. And you get to live life with your twin flame in harmonious union. That's why it's worth it to do the spiritual work. Because it stays with you eternally.
It's eternal.
And that's why the only way to do anything is spiritually first. Because it stays with you eternally. If I am to reincarnate, I'm not going to be born again poor. I'm going to be born very wealthy. I'm not going to be born into a family that doesn't love or support me for who I am. I'm going to be born into a family that loves and supports me for who I am and wants to see me thrive. So you don't just get anything, you have to earn it. And this is why, billions of people born into extraordinary poverty, or, people who die at age 4, you can't really feel bad for them. Now, you have compassion for them. You don't think it's great what's happening, but you don't pity people. You don't see them as victims. You see them as sovereign and powerful and whole and complete spiritual beings who have complete command over their own realities. And you can't get jealous of a rich person because they followed the rules of thriving and became very wealthy.
Once they were poor.
And you can't envy someone who has a ton of money but no happiness, because that is not an enviable situation. They do not have what matters. Some people are so poor that all they have is money. It's not a life to live. It's very miserable, and I have compassion for those people. But you want wealth in all its forms, and you want to grow your vibration. You want to refine your vibration, because it's way better the higher you go. Being rich is way better than being poor. Being in harmonious union is way better than being with a soulmate or being in separation or being alone. That's miserable. That's not a reality you want to accept. You want to acknowledge that you're here and you want to work your way up vibrationally by using the mirror exercise and refining your vibration one piece, one thought, one block of thought at a time, one step at a time as God offers it to you. And you will refine your vibration, I promise. Look at our lives. It is the example of this. We started from the bottom, now we're here. And here it keeps going up. Pretty soon you're going to see us shooting these in our new house. It's going to be nicer.
Yeah.
And pretty soon you're going to see us shooting these, and there's going to be a little pregnant belly over here. A little baby in there. And on our life goes, and on our dreams continue to unfold. And they stay with you. You can take spiritual work with you. It's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing you can take with you. And you will have infinite incarnations. Remember I said earlier, well, you could incarnate into a nearby planet, not physically, but vibrationally nearby. And you could reincarnate into a physical planet that is much nicer than Earth. It exists. You can incarnate into a neighborhood on Earth that's much nicer. There's a lot here on Earth. You really don't need to leave. It's a really wonderful, diverse, rich place. So I believe that's all the time we have for today, but the lesson here is ascend your vibration and don't worry about death. It doesn't actually matter. You'll just reincarnate back into the same circumstances anyway, and you'll keep with the same lessons anyway. And your life isn't anything other than the lessons that are right in front of you right now. Everything else doesn't really exist to you. It's just what is right now, and that will change. And if you learn the lessons, you'll ascend, and if you avoid the lessons, it's going to get harder. And it might have a different shade of hard, but it's still the same scrubby junk that you keep avoiding. And it will stay there with a new mask on until you resolve it, until you ascend your vibration into perfect union with God. And just one more thing before we close. I always notice this. We're saying the closing prayer, or we're doing the opening prayer, and the whole sermon is encompassed in the opening and closing prayers. If you watch every service that we've ever put on, every service that we will put on, it's the same as the opening and closing prayer. The opening prayer is the same as the closing prayer. It's the same thing. It's the same lesson. The closing prayer and the opening prayer always sum up perfectly what we talked about in that sermon. And so I want you to pay extra close attention to this one. I didn't preconceive, I just know that every time it fits. So this one, hopefully this one fits still. Please follow along in our closing prayer. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union that I may be forever in union with you.
I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen.
Speaking this prayer in your heart means you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator. Thank you for joining us. Let us close with our 3 ohms.
Sounds good. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Shanti Shanti, peace, 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 peace in our hearts, peace in our mind, peace in the world, and so it is. Blessed be and namaste. We will see you next week.
Namaste.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed today's sermon from Jeff and Shaleia. I know we really did. It was very juicy, very deep, and very relieving.
Yeah. And I really like that part when Jeff said that we are one. It was just so beautiful. It was a beautiful moment in today's sermon. And if you would like to join us and share what you liked or learned in today's sermon and service, I invite you to come over in our Facebook group called Unionism Spiritual Discussion, where we have our after church tea time, where we share about the service. And if you would like to join us live and interact with us live, you can do so tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we have a live feed where we discuss about the service today. Also found at the Unionist Spiritual Discussion Facebook group. And if you would like to view any of the previous services or past readings or meditations, or if you are interested in just listening to our music and find out more about what was healed in the creational process of these musical pieces that you listen at the beginning of the service, you can come to unionist.org and you'll find everything that you desire there. And also, if you would like to support us, you have a donation button over there, and we would gladly accept your donations. And also, with this occasion, we would like to thank all of the people that donated in the month of April. We thank you really much, and because of you, this is possible right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with this, we see each other in the Unionist Spiritual Discussion Group.